Okay, picture this. It's a Tuesday morning. The coffee is fresh. You've got your noise-canceling headphones on, and you are just staring at your monitor.
The dreaded proposal review. I know this feeling.
Exactly. You're a business owner, right? Or maybe the marketing lead for an e-commerce brand, and you are trying to hire an agency to handle your ad spend. You've got it narrowed down to two,
The two finalists.
and they're open side by side. On the left, proposal A, the monthly retainer. It's reasonable. It fits the budget spreadsheet perfectly.
It looks safe.
It looks very safe. Then on the right, you have proposal B, and the fee is higher, maybe, I don't know, 20–30% higher. And your CFO, or, the little CFO living inside your own head, is already raising an eyebrow. Logic, just simple economic logic, is screaming at you to take the lower fee.
Of course. Save the company money, you look like a prudent manager, everyone wins.
Right. But in a perfect world, sure. But we don't operate in a perfect world.
Not even close. We operate in the chaotic, expensive ecosystem of ad tech. And in that ecosystem, that prudent choice often triggers a trapdoor you didn't even know was there.
That is exactly what we're unpacking today. We're doing a deep dive into a strategy document that, honestly, it reads less like a sales brochure and more like a confession about how the agency industry actually works.
Okay.
It's titled The BigConvert Unfair Stack Strategy, written by Ovidiu Golea, the co-founder of BigConvert.
It's a fascinating read. I mean, it really tackles a structural issue in the agency world. The core argument here is that the cheaper option often ends up costing you significantly more every single month.
And not because of what's in the contract.
No, because of what is conveniently left out.
So today we're going to deconstruct this whole idea of the full stack growth engine and explore what Golea calls the agency versus agency comparison trap. If you manage a P&L or you hire external partners, this might just change how you read an invoice forever.
It really forces you to redefine what you're actually buying when you hire a service provider.
So let's start with the friction point. The document opens with a pretty aggressive claim. Golea says there is a massive communication failure happening in the industry right now. What's the disconnect here?
Well, it comes down to the lens the client is using. When you're shopping for an agency, you're usually just looking at the management fee.
The line item.
The line item, you see agency X charges, say, $2,000, and BigConvert charges $3,000. So you assume the service is the same, managing the ads, so you naturally gravitate toward the lower number.
Which, on the surface, makes total sense. If I hire a plumber to fix a leak, I assume his quote includes the wrench.
Right.
I don't expect him to show up, look at the pipe, and then ask me to run to the hardware store to buy him a whole tool set.
That is the perfect analogy, but in digital marketing, that is exactly what happens. Golea argues that clients just see the service as execution, pulling levers in Google Ads or Facebook Manager.
But they miss the engine.
They miss the tech stack.
Yeah.
The engine required to make those levers actually do anything worthwhile.
And we're not just talking about a laptop and a Wi-Fi connection here. We're talking about a very specific and apparently very expensive suite of software.
Correct. The standard agency model, as the document calls it, relies on keeping that fee low just to win the business. But as soon as the contract is signed, the batteries not included reality sets in. To get those elite results they promised in the pitch meeting, they start sending you requirements. Oh, by the way, we need a feed manager. Oh, we need a server-side attribution tracker.
And crucially, who pays for those?
You do, the client. You get the login, you put in the corporate credit card, and you pay the monthly SaaS subscription. The agency manages it, but you're the one renting it.
Okay, I want to slow down here and actually go through this list, because I think for a lot of people, a term like tech stack can feel a bit abstract, like IT jargon.
It can, yeah.
But Golea actually itemizes the bill in this document. It's not vague at all. It's a receipt.
It's a laundry list of hidden costs that, honestly, most businesses just don't budget for.
So let's start with the first one he flags. Feed management. Now, for the uninitiated, why isn't this just a spreadsheet I upload to Google? Why do I need to pay a monthly subscription for a feed tool?
That is a very common question. So imagine you're an e-com store with, say, 5,000 products. You have a database on your website, Shopify, Magento, whatever.
Right.
Google Merchant Center needs that data to run shopping ads, but it needs it in a very, very specific format. And Facebook needs it in a slightly different format. And TikTok needs it in another.
So you can't just use one master file for everything.
You can try, but your ads will be terrible. If your website says running shoe, but people are searching for men's red joggers, you miss the sale.
Okay.
Good feed management software lets you create rules. For example, if a product has less than 3 sizes in stock, stop advertising it on Facebook immediately so I don't waste money. Or take the product title and automatically add the brand name to the front for Google search.
Ah, so you need a tool to automate all that logic 24/7.
Exactly. And the tool Golea points to here as the industry standard is Channable.
It's Channable?
Right. Channable is fantastic. It's widely used, but it's not free. Depending on your ski count, so how many products you have, you're looking at roughly 100 to 300 euros a month, just to keep your data flowing properly.
Okay, so we are already down a few €100, and we haven't even served a single ad yet.
Not one.
Next on his list is tracking and attribution. Now, I know this has become a massive headache since Apple killed the cookie with iOS 14.
It's the single biggest panic point in digital marketing right now.
Yeah.
Signal loss. Basically, the ad platforms, they've gone blind. They can't accurately see who is buying what anymore because of all the privacy blocks on iPhones and browsers.
So if I'm spending 10 grand on ads, I actually have no idea which ad really caused the sale.
Exactly. If you just rely on the default Google or Facebook pixel, you're probably missing 20 to 30% of your conversion data. So you might turn off a winning ad because you think it's losing money, simply because the tracking didn't catch the sale. So agencies will tell you, hey, to fix this, we need a server-side tracking solution. And they'll recommend tools like RedTrack or HighROAS or Triple Whale.
And those sound expensive. They're sophisticated pieces of software.
They are. I mean, they use first-party data to sort of triangulate the sale, but sophistication costs money. The source document here estimates this line item at anywhere from 100 to 500 euro per month.
That is significant. I mean, for a small to mid-sized business, 500 size a month is a car lease. And we're just talking about measuring results, not even improving them yet.
We're potentially at 800 euro in extra costs, and we're still just building the foundation.
Okay, the next one on the list is a bit niche, but I found it really interesting. CSS partner status. What is a CSS, and why am I paying 50 euros a month for it?
CSS stands for Comparison Shopping Service, and this is a purely European thing, born out of an antitrust lawsuit against Google years ago.
Ah.
To avoid a massive fine, Google had to allow other comparison engines to place ads on their shopping carousel.
So it's a regulatory workaround?
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
But here's why it matters to your wallet. If you advertise through a CSS partner rather than directly through Google, you get a roughly 20% discount on your click-through bids.
Wait a minute, a 20% discount? That's huge.
It is massive.
You do.
You essentially have to pay to play. You pay a partner about 50 euros a month to use their CSS umbrella, and in exchange, your bid of, say, 0.80 acts like a bid of euro.
If you don't pay the 50 euro.
You're structurally overpaying for every single click.
So it's basically a stupid tax. If you don't pay the subscription, you just lose efficiency.
Precisely. But again, it's another invoice, another vendor to manage.
Okay, moving on. Feed optimization. We already talked about feed management with Channable. Why is optimization a separate line item?
So management is about the logistics, getting the data from point A to point B without it breaking. Optimization is about strategy. It's about A/B testing your product data.
Okay, give me an example.
Let's say you sell those running shoes. Do people click more if the title says Nike Air Max size 10, or if it says men's running shoe Nike Air Max red?
I see. So you need software to run those experiments at scale across thousands of products.
Exactly. Tools like Product Hero or SMEC, they act as a layer on top of the feed to dynamically adjust titles and images based on performance. That's another 200 euro a month in the estimation.
And finally, the document lists creative testing.
Right. This is for the visual side. If you're running Facebook or TikTok ads, the image or the video is the #1 lever for success. You need to test hundreds of variations, different colors, different hooks in the first 3 seconds, different text overlays. Doing that manually is a total nightmare. So tools like Marpipe automate that production and testing.
Which is another, what, 200 euro?
Correct.
So let's pause and do the math here. I'm the business owner. I signed proposal A because it was, say, 500 cheaper than proposal B. I felt really smart. But now I have 5 new subscriptions on my corporate card. Channable, RedTrack, a CSS partner, Product Hero, and Marpipe.
According to Golea's breakdown, the conservative estimate for that stack is over 650 euro per month. And if you have high volume, it could easily be double that.
So I saved 500 euros in fees to spend 650 in software. I'm literally losing money every single month, and I have 5 times the administrative headache.
That is the communication failure.
Right.
The client looks at the fee, but the agency knows that fee is just the entry ticket. The ecosystem required to actually do the work costs extra.
It feels a bit like the inkjet printer business model.
Yeah.
You know, the printer is cheap, but the ink costs a fortune.
That's a great way to put it.
Except in this case, the agency doesn't even sell you the ink. They just send you to the store to buy it yourself.
That's exactly. It's unbundled value. And BigConvert's whole argument is that this unbundling is inefficient and, frankly, broken.
So let's pivot to the solution. How does BigConvert propose fixing this? Because pointing out that software is expensive is valid, but unless they're paying for it, it's just a complaint.
Well, that is exactly what they do. They pay for it.
Walk me through that.
Their solution is called Product TXL. It's an internal proprietary technology stack that they actually built to replace those external tools. So instead of asking you to subscribe to Channable,
They have their own.
they have an internal feed manager. Instead of RedTrack, they have their own server-side attribution tracking.
They built their own engine. That seems incredibly ambitious for an agency. Usually, agencies hate being software companies because the maintenance is a nightmare.
It's a massive risk. And most agencies avoid this because R&D is so expensive. They'd rather just let third-party SaaS companies handle the tech. But BigConvert decided that the integration was worth the cost. They bundled Product DXL right into their agency fee.
So the unfair stack is basically, we provide the strategy and the enterprise tech for one single price.
Exactly. They call it the full-stack growth partner model. When you hire them, you aren't just hiring people. You're acquiring a fully functional marketing infrastructure.
This totally reframes that sales conversation we started with.
It does. The document even suggests a specific script for their sales team to use when a potential client says, "You guys are expensive compared to agency X."
What's the line?
They ask, "Have you calculated the cost of the software stack you will need to buy if you hire the cheaper agency?"
Oof. That is a drop the mic moment.
It is.
Because most clients haven't. They probably don't even know what a CSS partner is yet.
It forces the client to do the real math. It turns apples to apples into apples to a fully catered meal. You realize one side is just a raw ingredient and the other is a finished product.
Now, I do want to provide a balanced view here. We are deep diving this, so what are the downsides? If I use Channable and RedTrack and I decide to fire my agency, I keep my accounts, I keep my data, I just hire a new agency to log in.
You own the stack. You have portability.
If I hire BigConvert and I use Product Excel, and then I want to fire them, what happens? Do I lose my tech stack?
That is the trade-off. It's the classic walled garden approach, kind of like the Apple ecosystem.
Yeah.
If you leave, you lose the integration. You would have to go out, buy Channable and RedTrack, and rebuild your entire setup from scratch.
So it creates a pretty significant vendor lock-in.
It does. And Galea would probably argue that the lock-in is justified by the performance and the cost savings. But for a client who values total independence above all else, that's a real consideration. You are marrying the agency and the technology.
However, the source document identifies a very specific type of client where this argument lands perfectly. And this is the part of the text that I found most culturally fascinating. He talks about the Romanian e-commerce founder.
Yes, the persona analysis. It's incredibly specific to their market context.
So why does this full stack model resonate so hard with this specific demographic?
Galea identifies two key psychological traits of this persona. First, they have an intense, almost visceral hatred of waste. And second, they despise administrative complexity.
The hate waste part I get. I think any bootstrapper can relate to that.
But in the Romanian market specifically, there's a culture of operational efficiency. If they see €650 going out the door every month to 5 different American software companies, it feels like bleeding. It's just money that isn't working for them.
And the complexity aspect.
Well, imagine you're a founder running a lean team. You don't have a massive finance department. So getting an invoice from Channable, an invoice from RedTrack, another from the agency, an invoice from Google, reconciling all that every month is a headache. It messes up your P&L, your profit and loss statement.
It turns the agency relationship into an administrative burden.
Exactly. So Galea calls his approach the one invoice solution.
One invoice solution. I mean, that sounds like an aspirin for business owners.
For a CFO or a founder, it really is. By bundling the tech into the service fee, the client sees one line item. Growth partner. That's it. It simplifies cash flow, it simplifies accounting, and it removes the friction of managing all those vendors.
And the ultimate goal here, according to the text, isn't just convenience. It's a metric called POAS.
Profit on ad spend.
We're all used to hearing ROAS, return on ad spend. How is this different?
ROAS can be a vanity metric sometimes. You can have a high ROAS and still lose money if your margins are low or your overhead is high. POAS looks at actual profitability,
The bottom line.
the bottom line. By eliminating that 650 euros in wasted software costs and reducing the admin time, the one invoice solution directly improves profit. It's about net profit, not just top-line revenue.
That's clever positioning. It aligns the agency's incentives with the founder's own psychology. I'm not just running your ads, I'm cleaning up your balance sheet.
It's a very strong stance. It changes the agency from just a service provider to a business efficiency partner.
Which brings us to the broader strategic pivot mentioned in the document. BigConvert is explicitly trying to redefine what an agency actually is. They use a phrase, selling the ecosystem.
Yes. They're moving away from hiding the sauce. In the past, agencies might have felt awkward charging for tools, or maybe they tried to bury the costs. Now, BigConvert is shouting it from the rooftop.
You cannot get BigConvert results without the BigConvert engine.
That's the claim. It's all about integration. It's the idea that strategy and technology are no longer separate disciplines. You can't have a good shopping strategy without a good feed tool. You can't have a good scaling strategy without good tracking. So why on earth would you sell them separately?
That's true. In the current landscape, the tool is the strategy. If your feed tool can't handle a complex rule, your strategy is just dead on arrival.
And the document claims they're the only ones doing this in their market. The quote is, "We are the only agency that doesn't ask you to open your wallet for third-party tools."
Yeah.
That is their unfair advantage.
So they absorb the complexity.
They absorb the complexity and the cost to win the deal. It flips the script. Instead of the tech stack being a burden for the client, it becomes the agency's competitive moat.
Right. If you go to a competitor, you have to build the stack yourself. If you stay here, it's turnkey.
And that is powerful. It creates a stickiness that goes beyond just, are the ads performing this week? It becomes infrastructure.
You know, I want to zoom out as we wrap this up. We've been talking about feed managers and invoices, but there's a bigger question here about the future of professional services.
How so?
Well, if I hire a carpenter, he brings his own hammer, he brings his own saw, he doesn't ask me to rent them for him.
Mm-hmm.
For a long time, digital agencies have kind of been acting like carpenters who show up empty-handed and ask you to go buy the saw.
That's a brutal comparison, but it's pretty accurate. We got used to the consultant model where we just sell advice or time.
Mm-hmm.
But as the work gets more technical, the tools become more essential.
So do you think this growth partner model where the agency owns the tech is going to become the new standard? Will the service agency that just sells hours eventually die out?
I think we're seeing a split in the road. You'll have the high-end growth partners who own the full stack strategy, tech, execution, and they'll offer a guaranteed outcome. And then you have the low-end freelancers who just pull levers for cheap.
And the middle?
The middle ground.
Okay.
The agency that charges a premium fee but still makes you buy your own tools, I think that model is in real trouble. The middle is always the most dangerous place to be in business.
Especially when clients are becoming more educated about these hidden costs. I mean, once you see the unfair stack, it's kind of hard to unsee it. You start looking at every proposal and asking.
Okay, but what else do I have to buy?
It demands total cost transparency, and frankly, it's about time.
Absolutely. The opacity of digital marketing pricing has been a problem for years. This strategy just shines a very bright light on it.
So here's my final thought for you, the listener.
Yeah.
Next time you're looking at two proposals, whether it's for marketing or IT or even logistics, look past the retainer fee. Ask for the full stack cost. Ask about the software, the licenses, the hidden subscriptions.
Do the math on the total cost of ownership.
Because the cheaper option on paper might just be an expensive trap waiting to spring. That's it for this deep dive into the unfair stack. We'll catch you on the next one.